If you had to give yourself a label, it'd be fair to say that you're smart, driven, handsome, and a problem solver, right? Give you an issue and you can analyze, assess the core problem, find gaps in the information, determine a hypothesis, and come out with viable solutions. And then test it. Bingo, you feel accomplished. So then later that night, you come home and your wife brings up an issue. Immediately, your brain snaps to its default method of getting things done, of solving problems to make her happy. So you use the same exact process. Honey, just do this. Then she looks at you with disdain and says, you don't know how to listen. You're such a bad communicator. You sit there, you feel helpless, confused, and think, maybe she doesn't want to just be happy. Will you two ever get this area of your life handled? Issues with you and your wife will never stop. And if you don't learn the correct 4-step framework to work through them, then she will slowly lose faith that you are the right person for her. She will leave every conversation feeling more disconnected and feeling more and more helpless. But when you follow today's video on how to solve any and all issues with your wife, yes, even the ones that she keeps on bringing up from the past, then you will wipe away years of frustration and she will gain more confidence that you are meant for her. Now, I've discovered and used this framework after testing it with hundreds of couples and thousands of hours as a licensed therapist. These key skills are a must for every single conversation you have moving forward with her. So today, I'm gonna show you this framework, with step number 4, by the way, being a top skill that one of the best FBI negotiators uses to dismantle and work with to disarm hostage situations. So if you've ever felt you've been taken hostage by your wife's emotional turmoil, then stick around for that one. All right, so let's first cover the biggest misconception with you and your wife in communication. You have to realize that her goal in most conversations, it's not the same as yours. When there is an issue, you as the logical being that you are, you want a solution so that you can feel a sense of peace, calm, and tranquility that us men strive for every day. Now, a woman doesn't want that. In fact, too much peace for her is this flat line of boredom. She wants validation and a shared sense of emotional connection with you. The first step is to establish repose. Here's how most men will respond to their wife when she brings up an issue. Now imagine you two are deep in conversation one morning and you're just bickering back and forth a little bit. And then she says something to you that you swear it feels like an attack. She says something like, you just never listen to me. It's like you're an idiot. Now immediately you think to yourself, what did I do? That's not true. It's hard for you to sit with her anger. So you immediately try to use the 3 Ds. You will deflect by saying, I don't listen, you don't make sense. You may defend by saying, I'm listening to you right now. Or you will dismiss by saying, what does that even mean? Look, she picks up on that energy, and that defensiveness creates disconnect that we referred to before. Now, the better alternative is to say something like this. She's in pain right now. I wonder how she really feels. You create a calm composure necessary to allow you not to be drawn into her inevitable emotional storms. Here is a dogmatic truth of communication with her. Listen up. You are fighting a guaranteed losing battle if you react. You must learn to be that stable magnetic lighthouse that guides your ship through the emotional storms. So instead of the 3 Ds, you must use the 3 Cs. Step number 1, calm. Always take a deep breath when you notice yourself feeling angry. 2, curiosity. Ask her how she's feeling. And then 3, compassion. Make sure you reflect that care in the tone of your voice. Most men will go overboard with this non-reaction, and as the result, women think that you're being a cold robot that doesn't care. You must learn to convey the next point with her as well to make sure that these 3 Cs have the correct guidance and the correct effect. The second step in the framework is that you must give with grace. After you set the stage with her emotionally, now it's time to respond the appropriate way. When most men learn to not react, they turn into this stoic robot that we talked about before. To settle her emotional storm, to get her to see logic, you must learn to say the correct words with the correct tone. Now your tone serves as this warm blanket to comfort her and help her feel understood. Now there are 3 micro habits you must unlock in this stage. Stage number 1, determine the emotion she is feeling. You can use this emotional wheel here that you see and even bring it out in conversation as a tool. Trust me, it's not super robotic, and over time you'll get used to it, and it's the best tool I give guys when it comes to understanding emotions. Step 2, simply reflect that emotion to her with the content of what she is saying. And then step number 3, deliver it with the correct nonverbal expression. Here's what not to do. You feel mad because of what I said to you. And here's the correct way to do it. Look, I get it. You're pissed off, you're angry. It's because I'm not taking responsibility, understanding how you feel. And that is just so frustrating to you. You could see with the second approach, I was more calm and relaxed, and you could feel the compassion in my voice. The third skill in the framework you must use is called tactical empathy. I know when she is labeling you as this wrong, controlling, or any other word she says or she gives you, it hurts your ego, right? You want to defend yourself because you don't see yourself that way. It's in your base identity to defend yourself when you feel attacked. However, it is a surefire way to build resentment within her really fast. Listen, taking responsibility does not mean that you're wrong. It simply says to her, I recognize that my behavior made you feel that way. That's it. A good technique to use is to employ the tactical empathy. Now, expert FBI negotiator Chris Voss, who wrote the book Never Split the Difference, gives an example of this. It involves a famous instance in Chris Voss's career. In 1998, while Voss was the head of the NYC FBI crisis negotiation team, he describes a hostage situation where for 6 hours, Voss spoke through the apartment door of a Harlem apartment with 3 heavily armed fugitives. Throughout the 6-hour process, Voss calmly repeated statements such as, "It looks like you don't want to come out," and "It looks like you don't want to go back to jail." He used tactical empathy to perceive the fugitives' emotions and repeat them back to them, demonstrating to them his understanding of the situation and their feelings. Now, eventually, the fugitives did come out of the apartment, stating that we didn't want to get caught or get shot, but you calmed us down. We finally believed you wouldn't go away. So we just came out. When reflecting on the experience, Voss explains how he de-escalated the event by identifying the fugitives' emotions, labeling them, and then discussing calmly with the fugitives to ensure to them that he understands their feelings and viewpoints. This fourth and final step doesn't work without the first 3. You must be able to calm her emotional storms down and get her from seeing you as this villain that she doesn't care about your feelings, your needs, because she's so focused on her own. You see, when she's in flight or flight, which she is when she fights you, whether she's the avoider or the anxious type, she is in that state of just protection mode, survival. And when we're in survival, we don't care about other people because we are threatened ourselves, right? No matter how important, how much she loves you, how much she cares about you, when she's emotional, she won't think of you. But now that you've done the first 3 steps, now all that blood is flowing to her prefrontal cortex, away from her amygdala, away from the fear center of the brain. So now she's more open-minded to hearing solutions. Now, the biggest mistake a lot of guys will make in this fourth and final step, language is important, okay? And they will say, oh, I want, I need. It's a simple framework switch to say what's best for us. These actions moving forward, we should change this together because it'll benefit the both of us, okay? So that includes you and her. This makes you think that you're not being selfish or labeled as narcissistic. That's not all about your needs. And when you simply say from the perspective of we should do this because of that, that leads to more promoted growth together. So here's an example of it. I know a common issue with a lot of couples is money. And so one couple I was working with in the office back before I developed this whole entire program and my old method now, I was trying to deal with finances where the wife was spending loads of money and the husband was extremely frugal. And when he approached the wife finally, after I took him through the first couple steps, he immediately came out of the box and said, well, I want you to stop spending so much money because I'm trying to do this, this, and this. And it was all his needs, all his needs, all his needs. Immediately, the wife shut back down again. I had this growth with him. I got her to calm down. He used the right skills. And it was just right back to the way she was because of the language he used. So I calmed them down. I was like, look, Christopher, notice how your wife just shifted her complete energy in the way she moved her, crossed her arms when he started saying, I. Now, Chris was like, but I did all the right steps. And it's my turn to say my, I know, Chris, I know. But look, isn't it more advantageous to say, think of the common goal together with the finances and say that we should do this because it benefits the both of us. Christopher sat there and he thought, okay, if we save more money, that allows her to then go buy more things that she wants instead of focusing on what he wants to just save the money for, right? Because if she's able to control her spending habits, that allows him to invest more of the money to make more money down the road and use that delayed gratification. So we reframed that whole conversation in Christopher's needs in terms of we, him and his wife. And they came to a common agreement, right? So with this final step, it's just important for you to think, not just use the word we, okay? But also think collaboratively with your wife. How will solving this problem that you want benefit her as well? Even if it's something as simple as making you show up more. And if you're loved more and you're respected more, you show up better, right? And you could say it that way as well. Now, all these skills become a lot more easy on autopilot when you understand how your wife really thinks and how she processes her emotions. So there's a video right here on her personal psychology that I want you to watch that's gonna help kind of serve as a layer and a foundation for these 4 skills in the framework. Smash like if you're new here and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one, my brother. See ya.